Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in our Survival Minecraft series. And today is a very, very exciting day because a bunch of really awesome stuff has happened. First off, you'll notice that in the background, there is no longer any of that fog effect. And for the seasoned Java Minecraft players, you will know that means that Optifine is installed in this world. But not only that, we also have access to the replay mod because that has been improved. And so we probably won't be doing a time lapse today because I'm a little bit pushed for time, but it will allow us to do stuff like that going forward. Additionally, I did have to make one minor adjustment over here, but you can indeed see that we are starting to get some of this pointed dripstone to start growing, and we've expanded the farm out a little bit because it does grow rather slowly. So amongst all of those things, we have a lot to get through. But first off, what I would like to do is I'd like to make a couple of items here. I'm actually going to put 3 more of those in this furnace, because we're going to need 3 pieces of stone, and we're also going to need 3 pieces of smooth stone for what I'm trying to do here. Now, for one of these projects, we will need a furnace. And as soon as we have 3 pieces of stone, I'll go ahead and collect that and move it over to the other furnace that we have. Right like that. And we'll just move that into the adjoining furnace right there. We also have a considerable amount of coal that we have salvaged from some of these mining excursions we've been on. As you can see, I've got a lot more iron on hand. And as soon as this is smelted up, we'll be good to make the first little item here, which is going to require 1 ingot, but we're going to go ahead and get out 6. So there we are. So we can make ourselves a stone cutter, and that's really going to help with these projects that we're working on. And then with this smooth stone, we can go like this, place a furnace on top of it, and surround it in ingots to get ourselves a blast furnace. And that is really going to come in handy for cooking up the iron that we brought up out of our mines as well. So that's going to really help us speed things along. More so than we have up until this point. Now, we're going to go ahead and breed up some of our cows because they have been stewing in here for a minute. You will also notice that we also have this spruce tree that's grown up, and that's going to allow us to start getting more spruce to work with. I'm still not certain as to how well it might play into the build we're currently working on, but it is an improvement over, well, not having spruce, I suppose. So let's go ahead and chop down some more of this oak so we can continue to work on the remainder of the home, which now that we have access to the replay mod, I will do a rather large build session between now and the video on Thursday. And the Thursday video will have that replay file, hopefully right off the start, if not sometime shortly thereafter. And the other little piece of good news that we have is our carrots that we got off of that zombie has finally grown up, and so we can start expanding that farm out as well. And there we have it. A bunch of sugarcane harvested up as well, which is always good to see. Now, I do want to start working a little bit down towards the basement of this build. So let's bust out the shovel. And we'll go ahead and dig out these spaces. So that's 3 down, and then right here is going to be the landing. And just like that, we've got the start of our stairwell heading down into the basement. Now, of course, we're going to be renovating these wall spaces but I'm still undecided as to how or what I want to do with those. I'm thinking that maybe this dripstone could be a decent block for it, but it's going to take a long time for this to grow up on its own, which isn't the best thing to just kind of sit and wait around for. So I might have to reconsider and see what else might work well with this concept of a home that we've got going. But I am happy to see that this is at least moving, because that's better than nothing at all. Now, another thing to keep in consideration here with this floor is there is going to be more traffic coming this way. So to keep consistency with some of the things that we've been leading up to, I feel like it's going to be best if we place 2 logs, maybe 3 logs actually, kind of like I had it there. And then if we take out these 3, and then we put 1 log like that and 2 logs here, and then strip all of them and knock the torches off. I feel like that gives a pretty good indication of, you know, this pattern that we do, or will be doing, coming up out of that basement, because you'll just be kind of moving around and immediately hooking over to the left more so than you would be continuing into this space over here. So I feel like that works quite a bit better, and it helps to break up some of the monotony in that flooring as well. And then, like we've done up there, we'll go ahead and do the same type of thing here. We'll knock that out. And I actually think that this... No, that's going to be best this way as well. But if I take this block out and then put it down like that, yeah, I feel like that works as a good weathering pattern for that set of stairs coming upward. It'd be really, really cool if that was an effect that we could do on these stairs, but unfortunately that is not the case. Now, something else happened while we were... something else happened in between episodes that I'm really, really excited about, and I haven't done anything with it because I would like you to experience it with me as we go down. Because I just thought that this was a really cool thing to have found. So we'll make our way down into those caves again, because now that I know where it is, it's going to be a lot easier to work around it and do things with it. So as you probably remember, our entrance to the cave comes down this way, and then we take an immediate drop and continue to progress down to this little shaft, which isn't the most well-designed access to a cave, but I didn't have to make very many alterations to it, and it still gets us down to the basin, which is where we are hoping to go. Now, you may be thinking that I went off and found diamonds in between episodes, and though I was looking for them, that's not actually what I ended up finding. I believe it was down this way. And then from here, if we progress down and hook around this corner, jump up here, you'll see right there that wonderful texture of the smooth basalt, which is indicative of one very specific thing, that being an amethyst geode. And it is indeed that wonderful space there. And this is actually a pretty decent sized amethyst geode as well. Now, I'm torn up about what I would really like to do with this space. If I want to go ahead and just leave it as is, if I want to clear out some of the amethyst around some of these shards to harvest them up, because the best way to harvest amethyst shards is with a pickaxe, particularly if you can get yourself a fortune pickaxe, because even though there are AFK options for these geodes, if you break them With a piston, then they will only give you 2 shards, whereas you're guaranteed 4 if you break it with a pickaxe, and you can get a lot more if you break it with a pickaxe that has fortune on it. So I'll at least harvest a couple up initially, because there's some really nice things that you can do with amethyst and make some of these building blocks and other things. I would also like to mine up some of this calcite, because calcite is a really nice building block. So I will at least go ahead and take these, or a couple of them, and then make my way around the geode to harvest more of them as well. And this might actually be a really cool block. I actually really like how these two go together, and I think that this would be something that would be awesome to do as the basement floor, is make kind of a checkerboard style flooring with the smooth basalt and the calcite blocks. But let me know if you have thoughts or opinions on that in the comments down as well. But I will be back down here to do a little bit more with this space once I've thought about it a little bit more and been able to determine exactly what I feel like the best course of action is. I also like the fact that a lot of the budding amethyst is easily accessible on the bottom portion of this geode. If we're really going to take growing dripstone to use the block as a building component in any part of this build, we're just going to need to have more of it. I mean, that's the cold hard truth here. So I know it's not needed, but let's go ahead and put a bunch of this block down on the bottom here, just because it'll keep things consistent with where things are meant to be forming. And that still leaves us with a couple of blocks to play around with while we let the rest of this continue to grow. And let's just go ahead and try this block out while we're here, because we have a nice little area where we can put it and see how that works out for us. You know, I don't hate it. I don't think it's bad. But I would like to see how it plays out with some of that flooring that I pitched as using with the calcite and the smooth basalt. So I'm just going to clear out a little bit of this section of the floor. We'll go down, we'll retrieve some smooth basalt, because we've got enough calcite. I should have brought some more up with me initially anyway. But let's go ahead and use 5 pieces of the calcite here, and then we'll be back with some smooth basalt. Alright, let's see how this works in an actual floor now that we've got, you know, a place to put it. We'll put my torches back in my hand, bring that down a bit, and I actually like that a lot. And I don't feel like it clashes too bad with this wall. And we can always change the wall if we want to, but I feel like at least for the basement layer, this works quite well. I don't think that tough would work quite as nicely, but I don't hate this at all. I think that that blends quite nicely going down, and we of course will make a different decision for the wall up here around the top portion of the home. But I've got a bunch of work that I would like to do off camera to get us really well and prepped for a time lapse at the start or some point during the next video or the next episode in this series. So if you don't mind, I am going to end the episode here. If you're enjoying this series, please feel free to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe for daily variety content. And if you have any thoughts or input about how this home should come together, make sure that you leave them in the comments down below. Thanks again for your time, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.